it would be great now if you can also walk us through the interior and what are the main items that you would be looking at.
All right, the main items in the home, and I'm just going through this as I would prepare an inspection. One of the biggest things when I get into a house is the first thing I do is I go to the electrical panel. Usually the electrical panel's someplace in the basement. And, you know, your inspector, including myself, we pull the cover of the panel. We inspect the wiring inside that electrical panel. We're looking for any defects with the electrical panel that could be a safety hazard, a fire hazard. You know, we want a minimum of 100 amp service coming in, electrical service coming into the home, because these days with all the electronics in place, televisions, microwaves, computers, 100 amp minimum would satisfy a home about 1,500 to 2,000 square feet. Once we're done with the electrical panel, I look at your water heater. Water heaters, most of them in this area are gas-fired. We do have some electric water heaters out there, but for the most part, our water heaters are gas-fired. Gas-fired water heaters, normally you can expect 10 years out of them before we need a replacement. When it comes to the water heaters, of course, we're looking for leakage on the supply side or the discharge side. We're also looking for items of safety. Venting of a natural gas water heater is very important. We don't want to have any backdrafting of carbon monoxide, which can cause some severe problems in a home. So that's one of the things we're looking for. We want to make sure that vent is properly vented to the chimney or to the exterior of the house. Like I said, we're looking for any leakage, water, any leakage from the temperature TPR extension tube. And we just want to make sure that when we turn on the hot water, we're getting hot water.
That's important.
Yeah, very important. From there, we look at your HVAC, heating, ventilation, and air conditioning, your furnace and your air conditioning. Furnaces, air conditioners, you can expect 20 to 25 years on the newer ones. For some reason, the older ones seem to keep on going beyond that.
Yeah, I think this is a very good point to stress something that we also talked before, which is not just what we need to repair now, but also allocations. Because when we look on the mechanicals in the house, water heater is maybe a smaller ticket item, $400 or $500, and you have a new one. But for the HVAC, it can be like 5 or 6 times more than that.
Exactly.
And it is really important for an investor who checks a property and is trying to understand the pricing of it, to understand, do I have new mechanicals in the house, or are these like 20 years old, and even if working, they are towards the end of their life expectancy, which means an upcoming expected capex expense of thousands of dollars.
Yes, like you said, water heaters, not expensive. When I say not expensive, relatively speaking, when you're talking about furnaces, you know, you could be talking, you know, a low-end furnace, 4,000, mid-range one, about 6. You throw in the air conditioning, add a couple extra $1,000 to that. One thing I will always say is never go cheap on your mechanicals, because it'll end up costing you in the long run. But like I said, your HVAC system, you can plan on 20 to 25 years, and that's if they're maintained. And when I say about maintaining, furnace filters have to be changed. That furnace filter isn't for the air me and you breathe. That furnace filter is there for one reason, and that's to keep that furnace clean.
Yeah.
All right. Is there an inspection ticket on there from a HVAC technician that comes in and maybe cleans it once a year? All right. A lot of homeowners are capable of cleaning their own furnaces. You know, it takes nothing to get a shop vac and a paintbrush. But, you know, we want to make sure those things are clean all the time.
I want at that point, I think it's, you mentioned two important points that I want to stress for the investors. One thing that you can get out of the inspection report is understand the purpose, why you need to do things, which helps you to make a cost-effective plan. Because Bill, you have mentioned some of the items are required because of safety.
Yes.
Some of the items, as you mentioned, are required for functionability.
Exactly.
Some of the items are required because it's a look and feel of the property. And some of the issues you mentioned is to avoid deterioration. I think, and this is what we do for each and every property and why we like working with you, this is something that is very important to check with every inspector that you are considering to work with. Ask to see an inspection report, because there you can see how detailed, structured the report is and what kind of details you have, because Bill, the way you are doing it, explaining what the issue is, whether it's it's really easy to understand from your report. Is it a safety problem? Is it a functionability issue? Is it an item required to be repaired in order to avoid deterioration? And then the investor can make an informed decision plan when making a risk assessment plan for the house. First thing, for what is required to be done now and what are potentially the nice to have items. And secondly, prepare a CapEx plan for the items going forward, even if we decide that we don't do nothing with the roof at the moment or just do repairs, but we know we have 5 or 7 or rough about 10 years for the roof, so we can prepare a more informed decision for the expected CapEx expense. So I think this was like something very important that I wanted to highlight from the information that you had shared. And I think the second point is maintenance, because the item and the remaining life expectancy of the item is heavily impacted by maintenance.
Correct.
So using the inspection report to understand what are the items that are pinpointed over there, what requires an immediate maintenance, and also use this inspection report as a guidance to learn what are the items that really requires more attention for maintenance. This is something that any investor should know in general, and the inspection report is a great tool to build your understanding for the items that really needs the maintenance attention.
Okay, very good.